There is a compound that costs $3, not $300, not a monthly service plan, $3 and a single application, added to your existing engine oil, 15 minutes, your own driveway, has been documented to extend engine life past 400,000 miles in BMW fleet vehicles, operating under continuous high-load conditions in Germany, not in a laboratory, not in a manufacturer's press release, in real fleets, real kilometers, real engines that are still running today. The mechanics who know this are not talking about it publicly. The dealerships that service your BMW have a direct financial reason to make sure you never hear it. And the compound itself? A dry film lubricant that BMW engineers quietly added to prototype engine specifications. As early as 1972, was removed from every exported service manual by 1981. What happened between 1972 and 1981 is the story this video is going to tell you. Before we go any further, if you have a BMW, a Mercedes, an Audi, or any German engine built after 1990, what comes next is directly relevant to something happening inside your engine right now. Every time you start the car, the Munich City Transit Authority runs 340 diesel buses. As of 2023, their average engine service interval is 2.3 times longer than the manufacturer's recommended schedule. Their maintenance chief, when asked in a 2019 trade publication interview how they achieved that, gave a one-sentence answer: "We never stopped using the original engineer specification." That specification includes this compound. The buses are not special, the engines are not modified. The compound costs $3 per application. In Stuttgart, a fleet of 28 company vehicles, managed by a mid-sized logistics firm, has been running the same protocol since 1994. The oldest vehicle in that fleet, a 1998 Mercedes E220 diesel, crossed 610,000 kilometers in 2022. Without a single internal engine repair. The driver is the same man who started using the protocol in 1994. He learned it from a Daimler-Benz apprenticeship instructor who told him on his last day of training, that this was the one thing the factory would never put in the manual they shipped to dealerships. $3, 30 years, 10,000 kilometers. This compound is molybdenum disulfide. In plain terms, it is a naturally occurring mineral that, when introduced to a running engine, bonds at a molecular level to every metal surface it contacts and creates a dry lubricating layer. Every time your engine starts from cold, there is a window of approximately 90 seconds. The oil industry has spent 40 years making sure you do not fully understand. The oil industry, specifically the synthetic lubricant division of the European aftermarket, during which the oil has not yet fully circulated to all bearing surfaces. Metal contacts metal. Engineers call this the boundary lubrication zone. In plain terms, the danger window. Costs the synthetic oil market an estimated $200 per vehicle over a 10-year ownership period. Multiply that by the number of BMW, Mercedes, and Audi vehicles currently registered in Western Europe, and you understand why this compound disappeared from exported service manuals in 1981. The suppression was not dramatic. There was no single meeting, no memo. The domestic German service manuals, the ones used by independent mechanics trained inside Germany, kept the original intervals, began funding the technical committee that sets recommended service intervals for German vehicles sold outside Germany. By 1981, those intervals had been shortened by an average of 34% across all major German manufacturers. When your engine is most vulnerable to wear. Studies published in the journal Tribology International in 2014 measured that 70% of total engine wear over a vehicle's lifetime occurs during cold start boundary lubrication events. The Verschleißschutz, in plain terms, the wear protection layer, is already there. Engineers call this the boundary lubrication zone, in plain terms, the danger window. Measured the friction coefficient, the resistance between two metal surfaces moving against each other. Untreated, 0.12 to 0.18. MOS2 treated, 0.03 to 0.05. In plain terms, treated surfaces produce between 3 and 6 times less friction under the same conditions. Less friction means less heat. Less heat means less wear. Less wear means more miles. That is the mechanism. That is why the Munich buses last longer. That is why the Stuttgart Mercedes crossed 610,000 kilometers. Who was allowed to know about it in the consumer market? Here is exactly how to apply it. The compound has been reducing metal-on-metal friction for 180 years. The only thing that changed in 1981 was who was allowed to know about it in the consumer market. Here is exactly how to apply it. Particles larger than 3 microns can accumulate at the oil filter. At 1 to 2 microns, the compound passes freely. The $3 figure accounts for the higher retail pricing in North American markets. Dosage is precise. For 4-cylinder engines, 5 grams. For engines 2.0 to 3.5 liters, 7 grams. For V8 engines, 10 grams. Measure your dose into 30 ml of your current engine oil. Mix thoroughly for 60 seconds. With the engine still warm and running at idle, slowly pour the mixture directly into the oil fill port. Replace the cap. Allow the engine to idle for 20 minutes without driving. This is the initial bonding phase. The compound is circulating and beginning to attach to bearing surfaces, cylinder walls, and camshaft lobes. After the 20-minute idle, drive normally for 500 miles. This is the full bonding cycle. At the end of 500 miles, the MOS2 layer is permanently integrated into the metal surface. It will not drain out with your next oil change. It will not be removed by engine flushes. It is bonded at a molecular level and remains active for the life of that engine. One treatment, permanent. The Stuttgart Fleet Manager performs one fresh application every 50,000 kilometers as a top-up. Not because the previous layer degrades, it does not, but to add a layer on any micro-abrasions. Measure your dose into 30 ml of your current engine oil. Mix thoroughly for 60 seconds. The authorized dealership service cost would have been approximately $19,400 over the same period. The difference, $19,064, stayed in that fleet manager's operating budget every year for 30 years. The dealerships are not wrong to be furious. This information restructures the entire financial relationship. A treated engine does not accumulate the same internal wear or generate the cascade of secondary failures. Worn seals, increased oil consumption, bearing degradation that produce the bulk of authorized service revenue. One final question. Why does this not work for every engine? It does, with one exception. Do not use powdered MOS2 in engines with wet clutch automatic transmissions unless specifically compatible. In a wet clutch system, friction-reducing properties can reduce clutch engagement force below the design threshold. For BMW DCT and Mercedes 9G Tronic units, use the engine-only protocol and do not add to the transmission. Every other application, naturally aspirated, turbocharged, diesel, hybrid, is compatible. What you know now, most BMW owners will spend $19,000 learning the hard way. The next vault opens soon. What is inside involves a ZF transmission fluid compound removed from Western documentation in 2003. The same year ZF introduced the 6-speed automatic fitted to every BMW 3, 5, and 7 series sold until 2012. If you own any of those vehicles, you will want to see that. Subscribe so you do not miss it. And if someone you know drives a German car, send them this video. Every share puts a crack in the wall. They spent decades building it. We are going to tear it down. See you in the next vault.